Hello, everyone. Welcome. This is MB Geek, MB Geeks Let's Talk, and Neelix's Kitchen. And I'm going to go over my review of just recently watching the Book of Boba Fett, Season 1, Episode 1. Now, a little background into really when it comes to Star Wars with me. 42 years old. I got really into Star Wars around the time I was 14 years old. So figure 1994, 95 era. That's when I really got to get into the original series. And I got into it, ironically, because of the expanded universe when I was buying the books, because I was getting to a point, I was finishing up my Stephen King phase. I was just absolutely reading everything Stephen King at the time. And I wanted something different. And I came across some Star Wars comics and books, and I decided to read them. And then I noticed they seem to link to each other in ways that was unique. So I rewatched. What really happened was what changed it for me was when the originals came out, the special editions in the theater, and I got to see all three of them in theater. I got to experience that at that time. And then the prequels came out not too long after. I mean, yeah, the Phantom Menace come out in 1999. So it wasn't a very long transition for me. So, as opposed to other people who had seen this earlier, it's not that I hadn't seen Star Wars in the three movies when I was younger, but at that time, I was heavy into Star Trek. Star Trek TNG, Star Trek TOS, and at that time, you had Deep Space Nine coming out too. So, also Babylon 5. So, I didn't grow up on the same experience a lot of people did when it comes to Star Wars as a child. I didn't get into it till I was in my mid teens. And Boba Fett really was not a character that was that interesting to me. I mean, he wasn't even called Boba Fett in Empire Strikes Back. He was just constantly called Bounty Hunter. I don't even know if the credits named him as Boba Fett. I'd have to look. He wasn't even called Boba Fett until right before Han accidentally hit his jetpack and knocked him off. It was Boba Fett. Boba Fett, where, I'll be honest with you, if you really think about it, a lot of people probably wouldn't have known they were talking about that guy. But for reasons that I do not know, a lot of people liked him. They gravitated toward him. He was a character that was people wanted more of. And I remember reading in Dark Empire, this was the first appearance of Boba Fett in the EU, where he said the Sarlacc found him indigestible. Okay. And he continues on throughout the EU. Obviously, in a different manner than what we're getting in the Book of Boba Fett, but still, they decided to use character. I remember George Lucas saying, if I hadn't had any clue this character was going to be this popular, I would have probably done something different. Well, of course, I mean, he had no clue that people would find it so interesting, so captivating. And honestly, I didn't become interested in the character of Boba Fett until I saw Django in Attack of the Clones. Because it was like, oh, okay, this is a little more interesting. This adds something to it. And I always thought there was a chance they would bring him back. Because they brought him back in the EU. I figured you've got to be able to find a way to make, Boba Fett come back. Because obviously there's a lot of fans who would want to see this character. That just makes total sense. So we kind of get that in the first story. Boba Fett, this is obviously takes place after he's killed Bib Fortuna. And he's at Jabba's palace at Mos Espa. Now we have to remember, Jabba mainly was in Mos Espa, not Mos Eisley. Just that's mainly where his palace was. So it's an interesting take. He goes back and he's in the back to tank in the beginning. and he's having a dream. I mean, this is a great way to introduce, hey, everybody's curious. How did he get the hell out of the Sarlacc? Well, it shows you how he got out of the Sarlacc pit. He definitely found a way for the Sarlacc to find him indigestible. But things don't go too well for him. Yes, he gets out. Now, where did his armor go? It made total sense what happened there. There's wreckage, there's salvage. So who shows up on Tatooine? The Jawas. Now they have no reason to take him. They only want his equipment. So they take his equipment, leave him there. And who finds him? Tusken Raiders. And they take him in, they hold him. They hold him in a Rodanian. Eventually, he does something during that time to earn the respect of the Tusken Raiders. I'm trying to dance around this a little bit so not to get spoilers, but it was pretty interesting. The Tusken Raiders acted pretty much the way you would think. Although we noticed that we get some that we notice are actually pretty good fighters. They're not all we never really got to see them as were there any warriors? These are tribal people. There's got to be some warriors in there. I mean, we only saw the Tuskens a few times and never really their culture up close. Flash to modern time. Flash to the current time frame, sorry. Boba Fett and Fennec are setting up their crime empire. I like the joke where he says, we really need a protocol droid. That was pretty funny. There's obviously some political jockeying going on between the associate from Mos Espa and what's going on, with the Hutt crime lord syndicate. I mean, they point out the Hutts would normally be carried, whereas Boba Fett is like, I walk on my own 2 feet. I did like the addition of the Gamorreans, the ones who they were loyal to Jabba, they were loyal to Bib Fortuna, and they kept fighting. And he decided to give them a choice. Will you be that loyal to me? And they bend the knee to him. And they prove they're not bullshitting. They are going to be loyal to Boba Fett when, Boba Fett and Fennec look like they're about to get ambushed. And by who, we don't know. But the best part is, all you need is one of those people alive to find out what's going on. So overall, a very interesting first episode. I give it a 6.5. Maybe even push it to a 7 if I watch it again. I do like the characters. The aesthetics look good. Seems like we're on a decent path. So, folks, that is my review of Boba Fett Book 1 in under 10 minutes.